Welcome, welcome everybody. Happy Tuesday. This is JoJo Bennington. And I'm so happy to welcome you all to the RYL Weekly Team Get Together, check-in, training, whatever. Get together to see all your bright, smiling faces. And I just want to kind of get rolling. I know there's probably stuff that we need to cover as far as like maintenance, but I don't care because I just want to roll into this. So first of all, let's do a couple of shout outs, gratitudes, gratefuls. Let's start ourselves in the right vibration and get some gratitudes going. Who's got some awesome stuff they want to feel grateful for, or somebody you want to shout out? Paul or Pablo Picasso?
Hey, JoJo, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, I'm doing great. For those who haven't seen my post this week, I just had my 4th ice-anniversary. It was around this time that I was set up with a phone call by chat with JoJo and Vinny. And really, no way you can understand at that point the impact that call would have on me. So just very grateful for that opportunity. Last 4 years have been amazing. And I can't see myself not doing this. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying yes. And I also want to just mention that I know we have, typically it's kind of just us, but there might be faces on here that you guys don't recognize. So we've invited other teams in to join us this evening and in one team spirit to be able to share everything that we're going to share tonight with more than just us. So one more gratitude. Somebody's got to be grateful for something out there. Come on, guys. Vinny?
I am grateful that we have the wonderful Lauren Sims on our phone call.
Oh, well, we are all grateful for that.
She's a very special person with this company and has a lot of great ideas and does a lot of great things. So I'm glad she could give us a few minutes of her time to talk to some members of our team and other teams.
Well, we're going to pour much gratitude into her for what she's about to pour into us. So, hey, Lori, I see you unmuted.
Well, I want to double up on that gratitude. Of course, we're all super grateful for Isagenix, for everything it does for us, for our physical and personal development. But I'd say one of the best things is the people you meet. And I'd like to say Lauren Sims is one of the best people I've ever met. And I'm so grateful to Isagenix for getting to meet her. And she has become one of my closest friends on the planet. So I'm a little bit biased tonight on our guest speaker because she's my bestie. But I want to use that and I'd like to just introduce her if that's all right.
Yes, I would love to have you introduce her.
So for those of you who don't know, Lauren's based in Denver. We are not financially connected, as most of you know. I met her in June of 2014 at her very first Super Saturday. I got to meet her and Eric that day. It was certainly an amazing event. I didn't want to go. Josh and Lisa made me go, and I am so eternally grateful that I did because I would have never met her and some other amazing people. So those of you who don't know Lauren, she's a 5-star Golden Circle, 6-star Crystal Executive. She's also Start 1000 member, and she is one of our Star Ambassadors. She is an amazing leader in action. She was a millionaire in action in 2015, I believe. But she is has the biggest heart. She pours love into everybody. She knows everything about her team. She is a master connector. I watch this girl in action in Ubers and all over the place, and she just can't stop sharing the gift. It has fundamentally changed her life. And I don't just mean that financially. It has made her an amazing person, and I am just so grateful and honored to have her on the call today and to say she's one of my besties. And I can't wait to see her in Nashville because I miss her, even though I saw her like a month ago. I miss her every day. So without further ado, I'll let Lauren tell you a little bit about herself and her story and how she is an amazing connector and just can build a team and build consultants and let us learn from her. So welcome, Lauren. We're super excited.
Thanks, Lori, and thanks, JoJo and Vinny. It's super fun to be on here. And I was actually just trying to like look through. I was like, do I know anybody? And I know Mr. Carter and Dave MacArthur, and was just trying to look at the names. It looks like Caitlin from my team hopped on. But for those of you I don't know, it's nice to meet you. And hopefully if you're in Nashville, we can meet in person. And for those of you I do know, it's always fun when we can reconnect, even, just online. It feels like we get connected when we're all, working from home and remotely. I know that JoJo, we messaged a little bit, and I just said, just interview me, because that works the best for me, without like, I don't really do the script thing and come in with anything, but I don't think you can catch me off guard either. Like, there's nothing I'm like, just don't ask me about this. So whatever it is, after, I kind of share a little bit of my story. For those that don't know it, ask me, and, we're just roll with it if that's okay. But you guys, just about 5 years ago, so September will be my 5th year anniversary. I know someone was just sharing their 4th. I was a completely overwhelmed, overworked, underpaid, exhausted, burnt out nutritionist, personal trainer, and fitness professional. I got myself about $100,000 in debt in my 20s with 2 bachelors and 2 masters. I was working 80 to 100 hours a week just to stay afloat from that. And no matter what I did, I just couldn't seem to get ahead. I clocked in and out various jobs in a day. I mean, I used to tell people I worked more jobs in a 24-hour period than most people would in a week or a lifetime. But I started at 4 or 5 a.m. and I went till midnight or 2 a.m. 7 days a week. And that's the only thing I knew. I kind of got myself in this mess and I had to get out of it. I loved health and wellness, but making $12 to $15 an hour with 2 bachelors and 2 masters, like, felt incongruent. I was so frustrated that I was losing my passion for it. And in the process, I was also running from network marketing companies like as fast as I possibly could. So I had a big client base and I was invited to everybody's home party. And I never left being like, I'm going to sell mascara, like I'm going to sell sex toys or bags or jewelry or all of these things I was invited to. And I wanted to support my clients. So I went to their parties and I would usually buy something that I didn't need, like an extra pizza cutter or a set of knives or something. But it was never really my jam. And in 2013, all hell broke loose in my personal life. And I was fortunate enough to receive a phone call from Janie Elo, 96 millionaire with Isagenix. I call her the millionaire mentor because there's so many 7-figure income earners in her organization. But she was connected to me because my cousin, who had been a product user for over 6.5 years, never built the business, but she had been to a celebration, kind of seen the opportunity. And she told someone that told someone that told someone that told someone that this kind of went up to Janie and just said, my cousin needs to make money, like right now, like she really needs this opportunity. Who can talk to her? And I always tell people that when Janie called me, she didn't sell me shakes and she surely didn't sell me a compensation plan, but she really cast a vision for my life in a way that nobody else did. And she did that by asking me pain points. She asked me questions along the lines of, how would I ever go on maternity leave if I wanted to do that because I was exchanging time for money? How would I ever get out of this financial mess? She asked me what I needed most right then, which was a bed, which I can explain to you. And the second thing she did is really open up my eyes to what was possible. She would say things like, well, what if you could have a team of people that you work together with, you could impact that many more lives? What if there was this idea of residual or passive income? What if you could do whatever you wanted, wherever you wanted, and all you needed was an iPhone and, Wi-Fi? And before I even knew what I was getting into, I obviously was so excited, it seemed too good to be true. I was like, yes. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I'm officially getting into one of these things. Like I'm officially in a network marketing company. And it was one of those things that I almost didn't care what it was, because if something was going to change, something had to change. And I was at that point that I probably would have said yes to anything, but it was convenient that I loved her immediately. It was even better that I was falling in love with this culture in the community. And when I understood Isagenix and their core values, in their mission statement and their vision statement, that I was like, I can't imagine partnering with a better company. Like I was proud to say I was going to represent that company. And then I fell in love with the products. And you guys, I know a lot of us come for the products and accidentally shared and we lead with the products. And I'm the anomaly that I really did come for the business. I think I had hit Crystal Director before I did my first cleanse day. I'm not kidding you. It kind of went that fast. But it does help that I love the products and I use them every single day. And I think I'm a product of the product, that I have good energy and I haven't been sick since I've been on Isogenics, and I don't crash in the afternoon, and I'm stronger and fitter and run faster. I'm literally cleansing today, that it all just kind of fell into pieces. But when I shared with you I needed a bed, in September of 2013, in a 48-hour time period, I paid off an extension to the IRS. I found out that my dad was diagnosed with a rare form of Parkinson's, and my boyfriend of 6.5 years broke up with me on the spot. And so when I moved with first and last month's rent and deposit, all I had left to my name was $17 and a burning desire to change my life. I mean, I had no furniture. I didn't have decorations. I didn't have kitchen stuff. I literally had I will do anything to get out of this situation, and $17, and then the most amazing mentor that anybody can imagine. And I share that with you guys because I don't feel like everybody has to be pressed up against the wall in a hard spot to make a change. But I also think we get so far in our own heads sometimes about what other people are going to think about us, we stop looking for those people. Or we get so obsessed with who needs shakes, or who needs a cleanse, or who needs to lose weight, or who needs better performance, that we stop looking for people with the opportunity. And if you want to change your business, you've got to find shakers and movers. And those are the ones I believe are coming for the business. They're really coming for the opportunity. And you can use my story. You can use Emily Baver's stories. I mean, there's so many people out there. But every single day, it's like we're in this hunt to find the blue M&Ms. And along the way is the brown and the yellow and the red and the green. And they're going to build your business. They're going to build your foundation. And they're going to order every single month. And they're going to cycle, 5 to 10 times a month probably. And that's not what's going to take you to the top. I mean, love on them. We're bringing them in. We're, going to be the largest health and wellness company in the world because of that. However, we're looking for those blue M&Ms. We're looking for the next Susan Sly, the next Kelly Dickerhoof, the next, whoever that is, that really has a drive to go out and change the world. So that's kind of my story, and that's kind of how I fell into Isogenics. And I don't know if I left parts out or whatever, Jojo, but feel free to just ask me whatever. And if people chat, type in the chat, we can get to that too. I'll pay attention to it. And thank you, Lori. I love you and I miss you. And that was the warmest welcome ever.
Well, hi. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for sharing your story, and that part of it that, it's interesting because somebody told me in the beginning, if you want to help one person, share the product. If you want to help thousands of people, share the business. And so many of us came in for shakes, right? So came in to lose some weight or to feel healthier. So, I'm just going to throw some questions around and if anybody has any, please post them in the chat and we'll definitely get to everybody. So let's talk verbiage, right? Because people always go, well, what do I say? So if I was to bump into you in the elevator and I said, hey, nice to meet you. So what do you do? What would you say? You have 2 floors to tell me what you do. What would you say?
So I'm always honest, you guys. I mean, Lori will tell you, I'm literally honest to a fault. If I had that down and I just know exactly what comes out of my mouth every single time, it'd be an easier answer. But it kind of almost depends on where I am and intuitively what I think they need or where that comes from. So sometimes I'll say something I'm a transformational coach. I help people physically and financially. And that's it. And then as quickly as I said that, I'm I'd love to tell you more about it. What's the best way to connect with you? And I'm trying to gather their information as fast as possible. Sometimes I say that I'm in a health and wellness industry. I've partnered with a global health and wellness company. Sometimes I tell people that I have a background in nutrition and fitness, but now I lead a team of global entrepreneurs. I think it kind of depends where I am. And so I feel if I'm getting the idea if people want more information on the products. For example, I took my little sister, I volunteer for Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I took her to Bare Minerals today to get her first ever makeover. And I was pouring my little cleanse bottles, little 2-ounce bottles into the Starbucks cup. And a lady next to me was oh my gosh, what is that? What are you drinking? So I know that she's inquiring about the products, a little bit. And I said, oh, it's this amazing nutritional reset. I do. I said, it's awesome. I'm going to lose a few pounds today, wake up tomorrow with a bunch of energy. If you want, I'd love to tell you more about it. I'm with her right now, right? So I led into it a little bit more with the products, where if I go to a networking event, I'm a part of Women of Denver, which is a 6-figure whatever networking group, and I'll always about the business, and I'll say things like, I'm a network marketer. I've partnered with one of the leading health and wellness companies in the world. I'm a transformational coach. I am a health and wellness and business leader. It kind of really depends. And I think everybody has to find their niche with that. But if I could encourage you to say anything, incorporate both. Like, don't set yourself up that you just sell shakes, but also don't forget that we're a product-driven company, that for people that don't want to build the business or are interested in it, that you missed an opportunity to help them because they might want one of our solutions.
Okay, I'm taking notes as you're talking. Can I take notes fast enough? I'd love to tell you more. What's the best way to connect with you is such a great question. It's so simple. And things we overlook. So something really simple, and then to follow it up with that, I love. And so I know that you are just a master at getting people started the right way, bringing people in as consultants. So I know you're a consultant maker master. So can you share a little bit about when you're helping people get started, how they're starting, and how you're getting them to consultants so quickly?
So I'll tell you all the things that I do, because each one's a little bit different in just the order. But part of it is I don't forever 1 second judge who needs the opportunity and who doesn't, that I just stop with the product. From the very first conversation, like literally the very first one where I'm enrolling them, we talk about their 2 people. So if I just gotten you started, JoJo, and it was like powder, liquid, chocolate, vanilla, etc., I'll say, well, who are the 2 people that you're doing this with? And you would be like, what are you talking about? I just messaged you, and I would say, well, here's the deal. We know company statistics, you're going to get accelerated results with accountability partners. Like for me personally, if I didn't meet my friend Emily at the gym at 5 a.m., I'd probably push the snooze button more often than not, but I don't ever bail on her. Like, I don't want you to bail on your cleanse day. Who's someone that maybe you've done a program with in the past, or would your husband want to do this? And I'm starting to list people, like who's someone that, maybe has a wedding coming up or a reunion coming up and they're looking for something, starting to put that in there. And I'll just say to them, I said, one of my goals is to get everybody on the Eat for Free program. I don't want you to feel like this is disposable income. And with 2 referrals, you're going to get your products paid for. Do me a favor, get a piece of paper and pen real fast. I want to show you what this looks like. And I walk them through you share. Sometimes you share, they share, if I feel like they're responding to that and they're excited about it. But no matter what, you share. Like to the consultant level, 2 people, they've told me their names. And then talking about it, I'll say, I don't expect you to know everything. Your box hasn't even arrived. Like, haven't even put your order in the system. I said, but if you want to reach out to these people and say, hey, I found this girl on Facebook. I'm going to do this 30-day. I kind of want someone to do it with me. Is this something you'd be interested in? Like, I'm helping them with the verbiage. And they say yes, just say, hey, I want to call you back with her because I don't really know. And if you have questions, I'm giving them permission to be totally naive and lean on me, right? But in this process, get their accountability partner. So that's the very beginning. And some people do it right away. Like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Well, my husband's definitely going to do it with me. And maybe my daughter wants to do it, or I'm going to ask my neighbor, or that's conversation number 1. Sometimes they're like, okay, I get it. I don't really care about getting my products paid for. I just want to try it. I don't really like to announce with people that I'm doing it. No problem, right? And then I'll say, hey, by the way, I want to set an appointment with you next week. Once your box has arrived, once you've used the products for a couple of days, I like to do an individual interview with every single person I get started so we can get to know each other. Like right now, I think it's going to overwhelm you. I've given you enough ice to Latin for the night, but let's set a time for next week. And then a week from them getting started, or somewhere where I think their day 5 is going to be, I set up the call for the new associate interview. Because at that point, you can really peel back the layers of the onion and get to know them. And if you guys aren't using the new form that Kathy just redid that just has those 5 questions on it, it's so good and it's so powerful that you can really start to get to know if people are making the money that they want, if they're traveling where they want, if they're fulfilled. And it takes the conversation from accountability, partners to a whole nother level. And at that point, I try to introduce Fast Track to executive. And I say, I know I mentioned getting your products paid for and earning a couple $100. This company absolutely transformed my life, spiritually, emotionally, financially. I mean, the products are great. I use them every day. And I say, but just out of curiosity, is there anybody in your family or you that could benefit from $10,000 in the next 6 months? And I go big. And here's the thing. If you guys have never, listened to Eric Worre or anything, he talks about stretch goals. So we talked about getting someone to manager, you share, they share. They're probably going to hit consultant. If we talk about consultant, they're going to enroll 1. But if we go all the way up to the executive pools and hitting all the rank advancements and hitting executive, they might not get there, but they might get to director. They might hit the 5-cycle bonus. They might enroll 10 people instead of 2 people. But we have to raise the bar of what they're capable of. And I do that right away. And the other is just really staying on top of them, because I believe that this is a show me business. And what happens is that, I'm on the phone with JoJo and she's like, oh my gosh, that's exciting. Okay, I totally want to get my products paid for. I'm going to reach out to some people and I'll let you know how it goes. And then I'm over here and I'm like, oh, well, I guess JoJo didn't really want to get her products paid for. She hasn't enrolled anybody and she hasn't called me, right? And it's like, oh, I suck at creating consultants. And this is where most of us go. But what happened is JoJo did talk to somebody at work, and she did talk to someone at her kid's daycare, and she did talk to somebody at church or whatever. But those people were like, oh, I've done that. That didn't work for me. Or I don't do shakes. Thanks. No thanks. It's probably really expensive. And JoJo went, oh gosh, I suck at this. No one wanted to buy anything for me. And she didn't want to call me back and say, hey, I tried, but I got 3 no's. So I guess I can't do this. Right. But if you follow up, and so I would reach out to her and say, hey girl, how's it going? And she would say, well, I talked to this girl at church, but she thought it was too expensive. Well, now there's an opportunity to coach and train. I said, well, what did you tell her? How did she find that out, that she even knew it was that expensive? And we can introduce how to set up a 3-way call or a 3-way Facebook message. If she said, oh, well, she says that I just don't drink shakes. I'm like, did you tell her that we have almost 70 products, that we have bars, that we have a lot of other options, that it's an all or nothing thing? And she's like, well, no, I didn't know that, And I say, no, because you're brand new. Would you be open to texting her and just saying, I talked to my good friend that got me started and told her you were excited, but you don't drink shakes. She shared with me there's a lot of different options. And if you want to do this together, I'm sure we can customize something for you, right? But it's like following up with them and working with them closely to figure out what's happening when they're getting those no's. Or one of the things that I see a lot of leaders do, or a lot of business builders, is say, well, just go post on social media, post your transformation. And when people reach out to you, we'll get them started. And then they don't post. And again, the leader is like, oh, I guess she wasn't serious about wanting to build this business. When in actuality, Lori's going, I have no idea what to post. Like, I don't have a transformation yet. I can't just use one of those random ones I've seen going around. What do I say if someone reaches out to me? I don't know anything about this. I didn't say I wanted to be a distributor. And so they freeze, where it's worth spending a few extra minutes and saying, here's a post that I've seen to be really successful in the past. Let's maybe tweak it a little bit that it sounds like you. But when you put this up and people are naturally going to reach out to you, what we've seen to be successful, or what I think I can assist you with, and then giving them the verge of how to get it offline, setting up the verbiage of how to get on a 3-way call. But so often, I don't think it's that the people don't want to get their products paid for. It's not that they don't want to go consultant. Like, I don't know anybody who's walking away from $500 to $1,000. I don't care how rich you are, but they don't know what to do, and there's too much pride and ego. And I think as a business builder, which is why you guys are on this call, think about the stories you deal with on a day-to-day basis. Think about your own issues with rejection, your own fears of reaching out. And you guys not only are saying you want to do this, but you've had training. You've been to an event. You're on a millionaires team. You're getting training and you still struggle with that. You're taking a brand new product user and saying, go out here and do this. And they have no skill set. Most of them have no sales training. They have the same fears and noise in our head as anybody. And then we're telling ourselves why we suck at creating business builders, but we didn't spend any time to teach them how to be a business builder. Does that make sense?
So good. It totally makes sense. I feel like I'm echoing all over the place. I don't know why that is.
Sometimes if both are unmuted, it does. So I'll mute when you talk.
Oh, that's okay. No worries. I love the verbiage and actually casting the vision for them to be able to see it. And even just simply doing the you share, just having them draw it out. And I do love the retouch on day 5 when they're starting to feel good. And I know day 5, like between day 4 and day 5 was huge for me product wise because of how I felt. So I I can totally see that being a perfect time to reach out. Let me ask if anybody has any specific question or hurdle that you're struggling with. Will you type it in the chat so we can address it? So,
hey, Jojo, one of the other things too that I like to do is create urgency, like right away is really try to incentivize people. So I learned about this term, the crystal consultant bonus from PK Smith years ago when I was getting started. So if I get Lori started and she comes in with her 2 people, outside of double pibs, she gets $50 for going consultant, right? I get $100 for promoting her. I get $100 for rank advancing her. The idea of the crystal consultant is saying, I'm going to match what the company gives you. So out of my $100, I'm giving Lori 50. So now she's getting 100 if it's in a short time period, right? So some people say it's within 48 hours. I do it within the first week. And I think having 2 other people join in your business is so worth that little investment. I mean, any small business that has to pay for marketing or advertising, whatever that may be, to do something that incentivizes your people, or if I enroll a few people at a time, I put them in a thread and I say, hey, you guys know how much I love sharing with other people. The first one of you to grab your 2 people is getting an additional $100 from me. Gift card of your choice, Nordstrom, Lululemon, cash, whatever you want. Then a lot of those people that would have done nothing, because now they're in this competition or they see the social proof, they see other people doing it, they'll all get 1. And one of those people will get 2. You'll have all these pirates. And then you have time before that other person goes inactive to work with them more individually, to help them, double their pibs, to help them find their second person. But I think investing in your team, pouring into them and creating that urgency will absolutely make them move. And Dave, he was asking, where do you find the Kathy Cooper interview? On iStudentXBusiness.com. It's updated, the new associate interview or new associate checklist. It's 1 page now instead of the 5. Like, it got updated a few weeks ago, I think, and it's awesome.
So somebody's asking about where you find the wording on the crystal consultant. And so the crystal consultant is not actually a thing. It's something that was created by associates in the company. And so just so you guys know that you're probably not going to be able to find that somewhere else. But PK Smith created the crystal consultant. So if you want to, can you run through that verbiage just real quick one more time?
Yeah, and I was typing in there. PK Smith does have a video on it. So if you type in PK Smith and crystal consultant, Lori will probably find it and stick it in your guys' team page. I can see her working away, but he talks about it. But the idea is that the $100 that you get for creating a consultant, you're matching the $50 they get. So you're giving part of your bonus away to create urgency for them. And the idea why they're calling it crystal, because with any of our rank advancements, manager, director, executive, if it's in a time frame, you get that bonus. That's why we're calling it the crystal, but that's made from the field. That's not done from corporate, but given it a certain time period. You don't want to give them till the sun comes up, 6 months from now, the time frame to do that. But if you're saying, hey, if you do this in the first 48 hours, or you do this in the next 7 days, or you do this before the commission week ends, something that puts the pressure on them to incentivize them to move is kind of the idea behind it.
Jojo, did you see Pamela's note? She was getting...
Yeah, I was trying to get back up there.
She's getting head noise from her husband. She needs to release 170 pounds, and husband doesn't see how drinking 2 shakes will sustain her. How would you respond to that, Lauren?
Well, I would send probably the video of our 100-pound club, or the one that shows the 100-pound club, 200-pound club, 300-pound club, and just say, well, obviously worked for all of these people. But I also think that's where Isagenix has done a really good job of educating that you're not just doing 2 shakes, and even with recent stuff that they've updated the healthy snack list and how to support your mini meals and everything. And there's information out there, and I don't know who that is that's enrolled her or whatnot, but just as a nutritionist, I'll tell you, if you add a 0 onto somebody's weight, on average, that's the base calories they're going to burn if they did nothing. So if someone weighs 115 pounds, if they did nothing, if they laid in bed all day long, they would burn 1,500 calories, right? So if they're moving or they're exercising, they're obviously burning more. If someone weighs 250 pounds, they're going to burn 2,500 calories at rest doing nothing. And so you kind of are tweaking the caloric input based on where they're at. Like you can't take a 400-pound person and feed them what you're going to feed a 140-pound person, because they might have a rapid weight loss and they're going to plateau really fast. And so starting them somewhere and then gradually taking the calories down as they're losing weight. And that's what My Fitness Pal is really good at coaching people through, you know, that the IsoLife app is really good at coaching people through, that people's body weights and activities does play a role. But when I describe isogenics to people, that there's 3 major health issues that affect all of us, and we have a solution for all of them, that's unanimous. That's for all of us. The fact that we have bankrupt food, stress bodies, and a toxic environment, it doesn't matter how young, old you are, what you weigh, we all are dealing with that. So the fact that the shakes are going to flood your body with good nutrition, speed up your metabolism, put on lean body mass, the cleanse is going to, you know, detox from the inside out, and your Onyx is going to manage your stress response, that's going to work the same. So that person might need to eat a little bit more. They can't have 2 shakes and Little Caesars every day. But I think then that's, as whoever the business builder is or enrolling sponsor, doing a little bit of homework that the shakes are supplementing a diet, or that you're going to have food to supplement your 2 shakes, but that you're getting this foundation of really good nutrition that'll stabilize blood sugar, curb cravings, things like that. But I would show them all the success stories ahead of time and showing all these people that were on the program. And I would focus more on the benefits of intermittent fasting and what that does for, you know, resetting insulin sensitivity and, you know, just lowering appetite overall.
Great response. And I'm glad we recorded that, because I loved all the verbiage you used there, so I can go back and listen to that. And it's no question, using the tools that we have and the videos and sending those out, that's why they're there. So to be able to utilize those in the right way. So if you've gone through any of the iSmoothie site, you can see all of the different videos that are available. So find the one that pertains to the person that you're talking to. I mean, really, one of the great tools that we do when somebody's really making their list is to go through each one of the videos in iSvideo and go, who do I know that would love to see this video? And then not only does it train you by letting you see what videos are there, but then you're creating a list. You already have a tool to send out to them. And then at that point, it's just a matter of a reach out. You already know what you're going to send them because you're already feeling into it. So absolutely great. Thank you. I'm just curious if you have how often you're checking in. So you get somebody started, like, do you have a 1, 5, 15, 20, 30, you know what I mean?
My product users or my business builders, or both?
Both.
So my product users, you know, I definitely want to know their box came, and I don't sit on the phone and go through everybody's box with them. I use the unboxing video for my Isogenics, or at one point I had made my own. And then I'm like, if something is missing, you know, or like, you know, like, let me know so that we can call customer service and get that fixed. And I say, you know, watch the video on how to do a shake day, or watch the video on how to do a cleanse day. After you've done this, reach out to me with specific questions. Like, I don't create a culture of enablement from the very beginning. I want to set them up for success. They know I'm reachable, but I'm not going to, with every single person, like, this is what you do in the morning and this is what you do. I mean, that's the reason I'm not a nutritionist where someone's paying me for my time. However, when someone, you know, reaches out to me and they have little questions, of course I'm going to be there. So making sure somehow that they've watched the video, they've done something in the beginning. Absolutely. I say, text me when you are starting your first cleanse day, or let me know. I'm in touch with them on their first cleanse day, just in case something happens where they have a reaction or they need a little bit of cheer squad. You know, I want to talk to them right afterwards, because that's when they have that moment and you've got an opportunity. And then I really just touch base like once a week after that. You know, just want to make sure you're good. You're on week 2, you know, week 3, and then I will touch base with them again, assuming they're not sharing or we haven't, you know, come across any business coaching before their auto ship comes out. And here's the thing, a lot of you guys are afraid to deal with auto ship. You're afraid they're going to cancel it or push it out. But a lot of that is your posture and how you're setting it up. And so I don't sell a 30-day system, right? I mean, it's a 30-day rebalance. It's a 30-day reset, a 30-day kickstart into a lifestyle program. You know, people are going to be on this for a while, because on day 31, we're back to bankrupt food or a toxic environment or a stressed body or something. So I say, hey, if you remember, I put something in default into your cart for the auto ship. That's scheduled to go out in a couple days, but I want to make sure that we're getting what you actually want and the best bundle possible. When are you able to chat that we can go in and adjust this? And that's usually where I'll do some type of like walking them through the back office. I don't just adjust it for them. People say, oh yeah, can you change that for me? No, I don't shop on Amazon for you. I'm not shopping on Isogenics for you, you know, but walking them through what to take out, what to put in, because usually at that time, you guys, they've been in like our product page and you guys have them too. And they're asking about Amped. They're asking about the Slim Cakes. They're asking about the fiber bars or something. Or they go, you know what? I didn't do my cleanse days the last couple weeks. I've got plenty of cleanse. I don't need that. But my husband stole all my shakes, so I need a lot more of that. You know, whatever that is. And then you can say, oh my gosh, your husband's using your product. Let's order smarter. Let's get him signed up. Let's get you your first, you know, product rebate or something. But having that conversation. So I'm absolutely in touch with them before auto ship comes out. In my business builders, I match energy for action, not energy for energy. There's a lot of people that want to talk a big game, and that is exhausting. If you're dragging them and you're checking in on them and you're babying them and you're trying to bring a horse to water that's not going to do anything. When I say energy for action, that doesn't mean enrollment. So that doesn't mean rank advancements. It just means they are doing something that's income producing. They're at least reaching out to people. They're setting up three-way calls. They did a launch party, even if it's a secret launch party. They're doing something. So if people are not reaching out to me, if I'm like, hey, blah, 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 get on the team call, and they don't show up, I'm not begging you to get on it. I'd rather work with one or two that are all in and really coachable in producing than trying to reach out to 20 people that don't want to do this. I'll just leave them as happy product users and let them know when Pina Colada comes out, you know? And so I think just figuring out where your time goes, because it's exhausting. It can be so draining, and figuring out like who's really showing up. And Jana used to call me the what next girl. She'd be like, do this. And I'd be like, okay, what next? She'd be like, do this. What's next? And I'm looking for those people. And I'll tell people that. If I tell you to make a vision board, until I get a picture of your vision board, we're done talking. You know, like I'm not going to force you to do things. We know how important training your subconscious mind is and how important goal setting is, that if they're not going to do that, they're not going to do anything. If I say, listen to this podcast by Eric Worre, and I say, like, let me know what you liked about it. What were a couple takeaways? And I don't hear back from them, I'm done reaching out. Like, I'd rather focus on the people who are ready than try to convince someone to do it. And if they're too busy to be able to do that, they're too busy to build this business. You know, and I mean, I'll always keep the door open. I'll just say, you know what, I don't think right now the time is for you. And I'm going to focus on people where the timing is right. And when you're ready to rock and roll, I'm going to be here. But in the time being, like, unless you need me, like, I'm going to not be babysitting you. I don't want to annoy you. This is not your timing, you know, because I think a lot of times what happens is there's builders reaching out to those people who aren't ready. And it actually just makes them feel more deflated and more disappointed. And they're like, I suck at this. I suck at this. I let her down. And that's not what I'm thinking. I just rather not be frustrated with it or not put pressure on them or whatever that is, and build belief into those that are running. And then I think it's just figuring out where they are in that pace. Not everybody's going to come in and go executive and enroll 100 people, you know, but the people that are consistently getting double PIBs, like I'm working with them closely. How do we get to manager? How do we get to 5-cycle bonus? You know, people that are at 1-star, how do we get to 2-star? I mean, 1 or 2 or 3 people can change your whole business dynamic way more than 80 people doing nothing. And that's where I think you really focus it, because it keeps you having fun too. It's just as draining for the business builder to feel like you're dragging all of these people. You know, it's way more fun to just run with those that want to run with you, that are proactive. They're on their own getting on team calls, on their own they're listening to podcasts, on their own they're scheduling launch parties and things like that, especially as your business starts to grow.
So good. So if somebody's saying to you, okay, yes, I want to run, and they're doing things to prove that this is what they want, is there steps that you take with them specifically? Do you do different things with everybody, or do you go, okay, make your list, do your vision board? Like, what are the steps that you're having somebody go through to go to that level?
So for someone who's established, like my builders, you know, 1-star and above or something, if they're still wanting me to do their 3-way calls or something, they have got to be growing. They've got to be rank advancing other people or rank advancing. Otherwise, it's kind of like you're out of the nest. I need to work with the new people because I've gotten you as far. And unless you're doing something to get to the next level, kind of stepping away from that. Brand new people, either when they're having a great product experience and want to share, or people that come in for the business, I usually try to onboard them the same way. I like Isogenics, you know, business, everybody starts here type of thing. not everybody wants to do that. Number one, the website is kind of like Latin to them, but they're not connected to that yet. They're connected to you, right? So if Lori signs somebody up, or Anna or Robert or whoever, they're connected to you as the sponsor, not this kind of big overview website. And I know I was with Isagenix for months before I really spent time on there. So I kind of try to work with them a little bit individually, but guide them back to that. But every single person, one of them you already just said, I have go to iceandmovie.com, watch every video and make a list. And I have them highlight their top 10 scariest people to reach out to, because that's where we start. Because if you can reach out to the 10 people on your chicken list, everybody else gets easy from there. I have every single person listen to GoPro, either download the audio or read the book, just setting the expectations for the profession up. And then Janny used to call them like the six-figure, tools, or the six-figure sheets that Isagenix has. And that's your double PIBs, the PIB sheet, your map to crystal executive, and the rank advancement bonuses. And I send them those sheets or tell them where to find them. And we start showing like how they're going to make money up front. It's going to take a long time to build a team and have a network and have residual income. How much you need to make a week, how much you need to make a month to make it worth your time, and showing them how to do that by either rank advancing or earning double or triple PIBs or something of that from the get-go. But that way, not every single week, what's the bonus on a 50-day? What's the bonus on a 30-day? What's the bonus on the this? I'm like, remember that sheet I told you? Like, go back to that, and they can just learn, and they're proactive from the very beginning. And on the Map to Crystal Executive, it's that conversation of like, you're looking for 10 people that know 2 people that eat. And at the top, I have them put their why and the date. So like on the Map to Crystal Executive, I'm like, what do you want most in the next 6 months? Awesome. Here it is. Put the date, make copies of this, put, everywhere you are, this is your map, this is your guide. And along the way, you talk about how to set up a 3-way call. Along the way, how to overcome objections, how to use social media. But I think so often we flood them with the how-to that no one moves. There's just no action, and they're feeling like they have to know everything to do anything. And if people start talking to people, they're going to come back with those objections, and you can coach on it, or they're going to come back with like, oh my gosh, I saw this girl's social media post. Is that something I can do? But showing them the money and getting them paid. I remember my very first event, Travis Garza said, we have 90 days to get someone to make $500 if we want retention. If not, it's a revolving door of product users. And I've never forgotten that. And to say you've got 3 months to help someone make $500. It's not hard, but you have to be diligent and be tracking kind of what you're doing and showing them what to do. So that's iceandmovie.com. Everybody make a list, GoPro, and then the 3 documents, the double PIBs, your rank advancement bonuses, and your Map to Crystal Executive. And then from there, I think it just kind of varies on how fast people build and what skill set they come in with of what other coaching and training they get.
Such good stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you tell me the top 3 things you spend time doing every day that are income producing activities for you?
So I definitely connect with new people every single day. I follow up people every single day, and I promote events probably every single day. There's a sheet, and Lori, if you don't have it, I can send it to you, Jojo, and you guys can post it. But I built a document that I kind of tweaked from things I heard from Susan Sly and Jeff Combs and Rebecca Cafiero, and put my own together, that I fill this out for myself 5 days a week. I think if you're doing this part-time, 3 days a week is great. If you're on the I want to be the Tanya Kirkpatrick track, you want to do it 12 days a week. Just kidding. But it has your 3 connections, your 3 follow-ups, your 3 acts of service. Your intentions is on there. Your goals is on there. Your social media checklist. And I have literally just like tracked my business with it, because there's a lot of times I'm like, I followed up with 18 people today. I'm like, I didn't talk to anybody new or something. And it holds me accountable to that. Or the opposite. I'm like, wow, I went to that networking event. I met all these new people, but I didn't follow up with people from last week. That there's a way to do it. And the acts of service, it's on there. You have to write out what you did, because it's a reminder that you're showing up as light in the world. And I just think whenever you're putting positive energy out there, positive energy is coming back. So whether or not it's in your Isagenix business or it's just being a good human being, you're kind of doing those things. And then on the same sheet of paper, your social media, like check, check, check. You've got to keep the lights on in your store, right? So did I post in the morning? Did I post in the afternoon? Did I post at night? Your short-term goals, on there I have your weekly, monthly, and quarterly. Because, I mean, just writing that out, I mean, repetition is the master of all learning. So saying, I enroll 2 people with these, or like I promote, you know, Claudia to consultant this week, you know, I mean, my monthly goal is I have the 10 enrollments in the free hotel in Nashville, or, you know, kind of whatever that is, but you're writing it every single day, because I think, and as you guys know, what you focus on, you find, or it'll find you. I mean, there's some times, and any of you guys that have been in this long enough, you'll reach out to people, and you're like, oh, Vinny and JoJo are totally enrolling this week. I sent them stuff, whatever. Sunday, they're in the witness protection program. You can't get a hold of them, but you've been diligent, and all of a sudden, like Lori and Mike reach out, and they're like, hey, we saw your thing. You're like, where'd they come from, right? But it's kind of being consistent with that, and that's that whole energy in the law of attraction. And the intention statement is something I got from Eric Hoover. I was like 60 days into the business, and I think he got it from PETA. But it was like, today I allow myself to attract people that are boom, boom, boom. And again, it allows you to get clear on what you want, that you can be a talent scout, or you open up those energy channels for people to come into you. So I've been writing out things like, today I allow myself to meet people that are influential, people that are self-motivated, people that are driven, people that are fearless. Today I allow myself to attract moms who are burnout, they're stay at home, they want to contribute to the family income. Today, I allow myself to attract trainers who are tired of exchanging time for money, but love health and wellness. You know, whatever it is. And all of a sudden I can like be at the gym and be like, that's a trainer. That is someone I need to talk to that loves their job and they're frustrated and they're burnout. Or it opens it up. Like, you'll get a random message on LinkedIn. That's like, hey, I don't know what you do, but I kind of want to know more. Like, there was a reason I saw your profile. I want to talk to you. And that's in one sheet. And I do that every single day, 5 days a week, not every single day. Like the days I'm working my business, you know, I don't do this 7 days a week, but the days I am, and I start there, I finish there. And the other piece, which is not necessarily income producing, but I think it's a huge part of what we do, is like truly practice gratitude. I mean, I have written out the 10 things I'm grateful for every single morning. For almost 5 years now, I have a gratitude jar that I put, you know, big things in, and I stick it there, because I think that Jim and Kathy are still working. You know, Jim and Kathy created this company that for contribution. They came out of retirement to do this for us. And there's hundreds and thousands of people that have been blessed physically and financially because of that, that I don't ever want to come from that place. I don't want to get so wrapped up in the goals or so wrapped up in the business or whatever it is that you lose that. And so the days I don't do anything with Isagenix, I still am like, I'm so grateful that I'm not working brunch at the restaurant today. I'm so grateful, you know, that like my dad retired earlier, whatever that stuff is, because it just allows you to always be in love with what you're doing. And the minute you're not having fun with this, you guys, your business is going to halt. Like, you have got to find the fun with this. And I think if you come from a place of gratitude, whatever that is, it will always be fun and it will always excite you. And it can be, I'm so grateful for my one cycle. I mean, $54 a week, you guys, residually, is huge. It can be grateful for the personal growth, your travel experiences, the people you've not met. When I think about my best friends in the world right now, every one of them is from Isagenix and none of them are on my team. Like, you know, like Lori, it's just things that you wouldn't have even met these people, that I think that's a huge part of just people wanting to be around you about what you do, because it's not about shakes and it's not about going executive and it's not about some June contest, but it's wanting people to be a part of the bigger picture, which is why we're all here.
Love the vision. Oh, so good. This has been, I hope everybody's taken tons of notes and gotten a bunch of nuggets out of this, because I know that I have. So perhaps this was just all for me.
I'm sending you that sheet right now if you want it. It's a PDF,
yes,
so.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I'm going to ask you one final question. David Wood tells us that there are many people that are around us that are one conversation away from quitting. So what would be your ultimate word of wisdom to that person?
Oh, maybe you did catch me off guard. Okay. So I think that I would say one of two things. Number one, if you're about to quit, you're making it about yourself, and start to focus on what you can do for other people. Janny was the most altruistic person in my life that I've ever experienced. She still is. She didn't have to do this. You guys, for those of you that don't know her, she married a guy who was incredibly successful in the NBA. I mean, they had gajillions of dollars before Isagenix. She had fun with it. She wanted to set people free. And I knew she cared more about my success than my own, you know? And there was times I'm sure she wanted to quit, that it's frustrating. She's had the same wall kicking moments, but there was this level of, this is not about me. This is not about Craig. This is about her. This is about Kayla or Kelly or Danielle or Laura or Trudy or Tanya or Jessica or me or whatever that was. And so when you're at that point that you're frustrated and you want to quit, stop focusing on yourself and focus on the vision of Isagenix, the mission of Isagenix, and that you're a messenger of what Jim and Kathy and Johnny Anderson came out of retirement for. And I think it gets a lot easier. And the second part of that is that the time is going to pass regardless. When I decided to do this, I remember signing up for the 10-year plan. And I'm like, 10 years from now, if this doesn't take off, I'm in no worse position than where I am right now. I'm already buying protein, but now I'm going to switch companies. I was already taking fish oil, right? I just switched from Vega or whatever nutrition company into Isagenix. But in terms of what I was doing as a job, the time was going to pass. I would be in the exact same situation, no worse. But if 10 years from now, it could be better. If I could have paid that debt down, if I could have had a day off, or I was only working 60 to 80 hours a week instead of 80 to 100 hours a week, or whatever that was, what if I missed that boat? What if there was an opportunity for things to improve and I didn't do it, right? And what happens with Isagenix or network marketing is we see the vision, but we're unrealistic with the expectation or the time that it's going to take to get there, and we fall short of it. You guys, I made $100,000 in college education, getting 2 bachelors and 2 masters. It took me over 8 years to get paid $12 to $15 an hour. Like, we will invest all that. I mean, one of my best friends is a chiropractor. He's $300,000 in student loan debt, you know, and trying to get a small business. 4 years into it, he's still not showing a profit. But people will do that. But with network marketing, it's like, oh my gosh, I got 4 no's. I suck at this. I'm quitting. I want to, you know, be done with it. And saying, give yourself permission to learn the skills, to get comfortable with the product, to get comfortable with the community, to learn how to close, to learn how to connect, to learn how to whatever that is, and say in 5 years or 10 years, the time is going to pass regardless. So if you don't do it, you're in the same situation. But if you do and you're consistent, I truly believe the compound effect is for everybody, you know, and that the worst case scenario, you're still becoming a better version of yourself. Physically, emotionally, spiritually. I mean, there's no way you can be in this and not do personal growth. There's no way you're not going to get healthier and fitter or whatever that is. And so letting go of the expectation of what you needed to be at a certain time and trusting the process. And of course, you guys, it happens faster for some people. And that's great. But for the majority of people, it is the 5 to 10 year plan. And just being realistic of what are the other options out there. Where else can you have a constant growing income in 5 to 10 years, you know, that is supplemental, that's retirement, that frees you from your job or whatever. And the only thing you have to do is become a better person and pour into other people. And so it's really just reminding us, I think, of the expectations we put on ourselves. And I have to do that with myself all the time. You guys, I mean, to be totally transparent, when I first started Isagenix and I won the ISA Derby, my business, when they were, you know, doing Leaders in Action or Millionaire in Action and where I was in the rank my business was above Tanya Kirkpatrick's. It was above, you know, Tracy O'Malley. It was above Jessica Rigner. And where they've gone and being like, oh my gosh, they've all maxed out in 4.5 years and I haven't. I mean, I could do that same thing of like, what's wrong with me? I'm not a millionaire yet. I'm not an 8-star yet. And it's like, okay, I don't know their background. I don't know their sales experiences. I don't know their journeys. And it doesn't matter, right? I'm like, in 4.5 years that I've made almost $800,000, I was making $30,000 as a nutritionist, you know, in 4.5 years that there's 10,000 people that are more physically, you know, happy and healthier than they would have been, that I have this whole group of friends that personal growth and development has come in there, that it's like comparison is the thief of joy for everybody. And that's usually what makes us want to quit, is we're putting ourselves along someone else's journey and just focusing on yourselves. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if I'm on the 10-year plan, then to get excited about what's in the next 4.5 years. And that's for anybody. I mean, if you're cycling 1 time a week right now, 4 years from now, 5 or 10 cycles a week, who's going to walk away from $250 to $500 a week? Nobody. And what are your other ways of getting there? You know, most people are not in real estate. Most people don't have the stock options. They don't want to have another part-time job, and just really getting excited about like what this is and what will inevitably happen. And I tell, whenever I have someone who wants to quit like that, the Jimmy Smith line of the only people that don't make it are the ones that never get started and the ones that quit. You know, the time frame of success is different for everybody, but it is inevitable for everybody. I truly believe that, especially with our compensation plan, you know, like no breakaways, 2 legs, like that part gets easy compared to the other network marketing companies.
Words of wisdom from you. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me.
We are just so grateful that you're here. What were you going to say?
I'm not doing this to self-promote, I promise, but everything I do is on my public YouTube channel, that anybody's welcome to do it, to follow it. Like, I put every single call that we do public, that if there's things that are specific that you're looking for, more on connecting or overcoming objections, if any of this helps you, it's all public. Like, I mean, I encourage anyone who's looking for more training. I mean, I've learned so much of this from following Susan Sly and Zach Slobin and Chris Harder, and I'm so grateful that so many people have opened things up, that if any of you want more, it's all there.
Thank you so much for having such a big heart and being so open. And we just appreciate your light so much and everything that you've shared with us. And I know that I've just been watching the comments that are going into the feed, and everybody is in so much gratitude for you. So thank you so much for agreeing to spend an hour with us. Oh my gosh, it went really fast. And we love you, and we honor you, and so grateful for you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. See everybody in Nashville. Bye.
You guys can all holler. Thank you.
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 All right. Yay.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Mwah.
Thanks, guys.